what's sad though is this, I remember, because when I was sitting on the criminal committee until I was kicked off, apparently, right? Apparently, I'm talking too much, on the committee or calling shit out, right? I remember asking the members of that committee, how many of y'all have actually pushed a body out of your body?
Two.
And nobody on that committee could raise their hand because none of them were women. Mm-hmm. Right? None of them were women.
Right.
But they were all making decisions for women. None of them had experienced being pregnant. Mm-hmm. None of them had experienced all of the challenges that come with carrying a baby. None of them, to my knowledge, had been raped and impregnated. Mm-hmm. Right? None of them, to my knowledge, had faced death because they were pregnant. Because none of them were ever pregnant.
Yes.
Because they were men. And so, and I just found it just incredibly, not just disheartening, but disrespectful,
Right.
to be making these decisions and for women. And the last thing I want to say about that is none of them would support legislation that would govern the bodies of men.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exactly right. None of them have ever been pregnant, had a baby, understand anything about it. But it goes a step further and gets so much worse. There's Representative Burkhart, and they are voting on women's bodies, and they don't even know how they work. So one of his constituents was going to have a miscarriage. The baby was not going to survive. And so she had to go to New York to have that miscarriage taken care of to make sure that she didn't become septic. There wasn't something left there. So she has to go to New York to do that. So she goes to talk to her representative, who was Representative Burkhart. And she's having a conversation with him. And she said, and I had to go to New York by myself. My husband couldn't come with me because he had to stay and take care of my 6-year-old daughter. And he said to her, "Wait, you have a daughter already?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, you can only have a miscarriage on your first
Oh
pregnancy."
my God.
These are the men voting on bills that restrict our bodies, and they don't even know anything about biology or women or pregnancy, and they're making these decisions. That's
I
the
wanna say
craziest
something.
thing I've ever heard.